Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on something it's quietly shaping how we all understand the digital world. We're talking about the hashtag monitoring software market.
Hmm.
You see hashtags absolutely everywhere, don't you? Social media, news, events. They're just baked into online communication now.
Totally unavoidable.
Right. But what you might not realize is there's this huge and actually really fast-growing market dedicated just to tracking them. So our mission today is to unpack the latest trends from a new report, look at the growth, the forecasts, and really pull out the key numbers and what they mean for you.
And it's definitely a market with serious momentum. I mean, the source we're looking at really underscores its crucial role today. We're talking digital marketing effectiveness, deep social analytics, managing brand reputation, basically getting a real-time pulse on what people are saying online. It's fundamental stuff now.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the big picture, the global view.
Yeah.
So the whole hashtag monitoring software market,
Yeah.
the numbers are pretty eye-opening. Back in 2021, it was already doing just under $1 billion globally,
Yeah.
about $920 million roughly.
Right.
Projected to hit over $1.3 billion by 2025.
Okay.
And get this, the forecast for 2033, nearly $2.7 billion.
Wow.
That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 9.316%, so over 9% year-on-year growth.
What's fascinating there, I think, is that it's not just some quick spike. Seeing it nearly triple by coming 33 from that 2021 number, it just shouts how vital understanding real-time sentiment has become.
Yeah.
You know, think about a big brand launch. They're not just guessing anymore. They're watching hashtag trends the second it drops, lets them tweak campaigns, maybe even spot product issues super fast. That's tangible value driving this growth.
Absolutely. So, okay, that's the global story, a market really finding its feet and growing strong.
Right.
We need to break it down by region, though, to see where the real hotspots are. Let's start with North America. It's kind of the established player.
The heavyweight, yeah. Makes sense.
So North America saw around $366 million back in 2021. It's projected to hit $521 million by 2025, and the forecast for 2033 is over $1 billion, $1.03 billion roughly.
Still huge growth then.
Yeah, with a solid CAGR too, nearly 9%, 8.865% to be exact. And digging into North America, the U.S. is obviously the giant here. It was about $293 million in 2021, heading towards $807 million by 2033.
The lion's share.
Definitely. But what caught my eye was Canada. Smaller market, sure, around $44 million in 2021. But its growth rate is actually a bit higher than the U.S., almost 9.8% CAGR. Projected $136 million by 2033.
Interesting.
And Mexico's solid, too. About $29 million in 2021, growing to $86 million, with a CAGR around 9.5%.
You know, given how mature the digital scene is in North America, especially the U.S., seeing it still grow so strongly is significant. It reflects that advanced digital marketing landscape. But yeah, Canada growing slightly faster. That might hint at perhaps different adoption curves, maybe businesses there catching up or even leapfrogging in some areas, or different regulatory pushes.
Could be.
It just shows that even within a region like North America, you can't paint it all with the same brush. Strategies need nuance.
Good point. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. Also a pretty considerable market. It was valued at about $266 million in 2021.
Right.
Projected to reach over $378 million by 2025, and the 2033 forecast is $753 million. The EGR there is just under 9% as well, 8.985%. Pretty similar to North America overall.
Okay, but Europe's always diverse, right? What does the country breakdown look like?
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a patchwork. Germany is the biggest single market, started at $42 million, going to $111 million, but its CAGR is a bit lower, around 8.1%. France is interesting. Smaller than Germany, about $30 million in 2021, but growing faster. Its CAGR is over 10.3%, projected to hit $94 million.
Oh, wow. That's a notable difference. Suggests maybe a faster digital embrace there.
Could be. The UK is significant too, around $31 million, growing to $81 million, CGR about 8%. Then you've got Italy, Russia, Spain. Italy's around $19 million, going to $57 million, nice KGR of 9.6%. Russia and Spain also have solid KGRs over 8%.
So generally strong growth across the board, but with variations.
Definitely. And then you see some smaller economies like Sweden, Denmark, with KGRs more in the 6% range. $9 million going to $19 million.
Slower, but still growing.
Exactly. But then the rest of Europe category actually has the highest KGR in Europe,
Okay.
over 10.4%.
So lots of growth happening in those perhaps less traditionally dominant digital markets too.
Seems like it. It really highlights that varying pace of digital adoption and maybe different marketing focuses country by country.
Absolutely. It's not one monolithic European market at all.
Okay, let's shift to Asia Pacific. This region is really dynamic. You could almost call it the engine for future growth.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The numbers usually bear that out.
They do here. Started at $173 million in 2021, projected $248 million by 2025, and the 2033 forecast, over $500 million, $544 million,
Big jump.
with an impressive CAGR to 10.289%, over 10%.
Okay, let's break that down. China, India.
Yep, China's the largest in the region. $55 million in 2021, heading towards $163 million by 2033. Strong CAGR around 9.9%.
Egypt, Blair.
Japan's big, too. $40 million growing to $118 million, similar CAGR, just under 10%. But yeah, India, that's a standout. Started at about $28.5 million, projected to hit nearly $100 million by 2033. That's driven by a really high CGR, 11.279%.
Wow, nearly 11.3%. That's remarkable growth.
It is. And Singapore, even higher at TGR, the highest in APAC, actually, at almost 11.9%.
Yeah.
Smaller base, $6 million going to $22 million, but that rate is something else.
Very high.
And then you've got South Korea, Australia, Southeast Asia as a block, Taiwan, all contributing with solid CAGRs, mostly in the 9–10% range.
You know, connecting this to the broader trends, it's that rapid digital transformation across Asia Pacific, right? Plus just the sheer number of users coming online, especially mobile-first users in places like India and Southeast Asia.
Exactly.
That creates this massive pool of conversation, and businesses need to tune in. The demand for monitoring tools just explodes.
And those really high CAGRs in India and Singapore perhaps point to economies just hitting peak digital stride right now.
Could be. Very dynamic region.
Okay, moving on. South America. Another region showing pretty rapid expansion.
Right. What are the numbers there?
Started smaller, around $62.6 million in 2021, projected to hit $91 million by 2025, and the 2033 forecast is just over $201.3 million.
So more than tripling, too.
Yeah, and the CAGR reflects that.
Okay.
Over 10.4%, another region beating that global average.
Interesting. Who's leading the charge? Brazil, presumably?
Brazil's the largest market, yeah. About $20 million in 2021, growing to $61.6 million by 2033. CGR just over 10%.
Solid.
But check this out. Argentina and Colombia even higher CGRs. Argentina's is almost 11.2%. Colombia's nearly 11.2% too.
Oh, okay. So like Canada in North America, some other markets are growing even faster than the regional leader.
Exactly. Peru and Chile are in there too, with good growth around the 9–10% CAGR mark.
It really speaks to the emerging nature of these markets, doesn't it? As digital infrastructure gets built out, internet access spreads, the demand for these kinds of analytical tools just takes off.
Yeah.
And seeing Argentina and Colombia with such high KGRs, it signals a really energetic digital awakening, maybe from a slightly lower base, but huge potential.
Definitely feels like a region with accelerating momentum. Okay, 2 regions left. Let's look at the Middle East first.
Yeah.
This one's a bit different. Started at about $36 million in 2021, projected $49.7 million by 2025, and forecast to hit $85.5 million by 2033.
Okay, so slower growth than the others.
Yeah, the TAGR is just over 7%. That's actually the lowest regional CGR we've seen.
Any standouts within the region?
Saudi Arabia is the largest market. Turkey, UAE, Egypt, Qatar are also players. Interestingly, the UAE actually has the highest KGR within the Middle East, over 8.2%. So some pockets are growing faster.
Okay, so still growth, just maybe more moderate overall compared to, say, Asia Pacific or South America.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
But then we get to Africa. And here's where it gets really interesting. Africa is the region with the fastest growth globally.
Fastest, wow. Okay, what are the figures?
Started from the smallest base, for sure. Just $16.6 million in 2021.
Right.
Projected $25.2 million by 2025, but the 2033 forecast, over $67 million.
Okay, that's a huge percentage increase.
It is. The TAGR is remarkable, over 13%, 13.04%.
13%, that's incredible. Where's that coming from?
Well, Nigeria and South Africa are leading the way in market size. Nigeria was about $3.2 million, going to nearly $13 million.
Yeah.
South Africa started larger, $5.7 million, growing to $22.6 million. Both have really strong CGRs, around 12.7%. Very strong.
But again, like in Europe, the rest of Africa category actually shows the highest growth rate of almost 13.5% CAGR.
So really widespread, rapid growth across the continent.
It seems so. But that raises the question, right? Why is Africa seeing this explosive growth, especially when you contrast it with the Middle East's much lower CAGR?
Yeah, that's a key question. I think it's heavily linked to that rapid mobile penetration across Africa. Many nations are basically leapfrogging the whole desktop internet phase and going straight to mobile.
Right, the mobile first continent.
Exactly. And that creates these huge digitally native populations who are incredibly active online, generating vast amounts of social data. So businesses, both local and international, are scrambling to understand these new booming digital landscapes.
So the need for monitoring tools is just surging.
Precisely. It's essential for market entry, for brand building, for everything. And because it's often starting from a lower base, the percentage growth looks, well, spectacular. Compared to the Middle East, which, while parts are digitally advanced, might just be in a more mature, slower phase for this specific type of software.
That seems plausible, yeah. Different stages of market development playing out.
Okay, so we've toured the world, seen these numbers.
Mhm.
What does it all mean for you listening in? I mean, the big takeaway seems to be the truly global nature of this. It's not just a Silicon Valley thing or a London thing.
Not at all.
It reflects this fundamental shift, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How businesses, organizations, even individuals need to operate and connect online.
Absolutely. Understanding what's being said, the trends, who's driving conversations. It's moved from being like a niche marketing activity to something central.
Yeah, core strategy.
Exactly. Whether you're launching something, managing a crisis, or just trying to get the pulse of, the cultural zeitgeist,
Yeah.
this kind of monitoring is becoming critical.
And the drivers mentioned in the source really back that up, that increasing focus on measurable digital marketing.
The absolute need for deep social analytics, not just vanity metrics.
And yeah, that constant pressure of managing brand reputation in real time.
It all points to this software becoming just an indispensable tool that's not really a nice to have anymore for anyone serious about operating today.
If you're looking at investments or maybe expanding a business internationally, understanding these regional growth rates, that seems incredibly valuable.
Definitely critical intelligence.
Well, hopefully this deep dive has given you some useful insights into this market. It's often unseen, isn't it?
Yeah.
But clearly very impactful, whether you're thinking about your own business strategy, maybe your career, or you're just curious about how the digital world ticks. Knowing these trends helps build that bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
So just to quickly summarize, the hashtag monitoring software market is seeing really substantial, sustained growth everywhere, really, driven by this ever-expanding digital world and the need for instant online insights.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. As social media keeps evolving, we see new platforms, maybe more voice stuff, VR, who knows what's next?
Right.
How might the actual definition of hashtag monitoring change? Does it expand beyond just text? Does it cover new kinds of signals? Thinking about that, what new opportunities might that shift create in the next decade for businesses, for innovators? Something to chew on.
That's a great point. Definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Sometimes scrolling online, it just feels like completely overwhelming, right? The sheer amount of information.
Oh, absolutely. Information overload is definitely a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And trends, they seem to just pop up and then vanish almost instantly. It makes you wonder, how do businesses keep up? Or, how do news outlets track a story practically in real time as it develops?
It's a huge challenge.
Yep.
And it's exactly where things like hashtag monitoring come in.
Right. So today, that's what we're diving into, hashtag monitoring software. It sounds maybe a little technical.
A bit, yeah, but it's fascinating.
It really is. And it's become so crucial for modern marketing, journalism, PR, pretty much anyone trying to navigate the online world.
Definitely.
So our mission today is really to unpack this, how it started, the challenges it faces, and where it's heading. Basically, give you a shortcut to understanding this vital piece of the digital puzzle.
Sounds good. A necessary tool in today's world.
Absolutely. So thinking about that overwhelming feeling online, what's been the immediate impact of these tools, the real game changer?
Well, the biggest shift is how central social media analytics have become. It's not optional anymore.
No, it really feels like bedrock, doesn't it? Brands, agencies, they rely on these tools now.
They do, for tracking campaign performance, audience engagement, brand sentiment.
Across all the big platforms, right? X, Instagram, TikTok.
Exactly. It's completely changed how strategic decisions are made. It
Yeah.
gives them actual data to work with.
I see. And that leads into the real-time aspect, I imagine.
That's a huge part of it. The demand for real-time trend monitoring is immense.
Because things move so fast.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Marketers need to spot those viral moments,
Yeah.
as they're happening. Journalists need to catch breaking stories the second they bubble up.
So this software essentially speeds up their whole process, allows for quicker
Yeah.
decision.
Much faster and much more strategic decisions. Think about a small business being able to see a local trend taking off on TikTok.
And jumping on it immediately.
Yeah, maybe pivoting their marketing in like a day to catch that wave. That just wasn't really possible a few years back. Not at scale, anyway.
That's incredible agility. And it's not just about the hashtags themselves anymore, is it? I'm seeing these tools get folded into bigger platforms.
Oh, definitely. That integration is a major driver.
So what does that look like? What else is included?
You're seeing influencer tracking, really detailed engagement metrics, competitor analysis, all bundled together.
Ah, so it gives you the whole picture.
Exactly, a holistic view, which, significantly boosts the ROI because you're connecting the dots, not just looking at isolated bits of data.
Makes sense. You see how everything fits together. Okay, so the demand is clear, the benefits are there, but it can't all be smooth sailing.
No, definitely not.
Hmm.
Like any rapidly growing market, there are significant hurdles, roadblocks, really.
So what are we talking about here? What are the main challenges?
Well, one of the biggest is actually getting the data in the first place, access to social media data,
How so? Aren't the platforms sharing it?
increasingly less freely. The big platforms are tightening up access to their APIs.
OPIs. So they're like the data pipelines between software, right?
Exactly. And when those pipelines get restricted,
Yeah.
it costs a lot more money.
It makes it harder for these monitoring tools to actually pull in the information they need.
Precisely. Harder to get accurate, comprehensive insights. It creates real barriers for these third-party software providers.
Okay, I can see how limited access to the raw material would be a massive problem. Related to that, maybe, there seem to be so many of these tools out there now.
A market saturation is definitely an issue.
Is it making it tough for them?
Absolutely. You look around, and honestly, a lot of tools offer very similar core features.
So differentiating becomes hard.
Very hard. And that often leads to, pricing pressure, everyone trying to undercut everyone else.
Which might be good for the buyer in the short term.
But it puts a lot of pressure on the providers to innovate constantly or risk becoming a commodity.
Right. And alongside data access and competition, there's the whole privacy angle, too, isn't there?
Oh, hugely important. Privacy compliance.
Things like GDPR, CCCA in California.
Exactly. These global regulations impose really strict guidelines on how user data can be collected and used.
Which must be a nightmare for companies operating internationally.
It's incredibly complex, navigating that legal landscape, ensuring you comply in every region. It's a major challenge, especially for vendors trying to serve a global market. Imagine mapping European data rules onto a US-based system. It's tricky.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so we have data access issues, market saturation, complex privacy rules, quite a few hurdles.
Definitely.
So given all that, where does this tech go next? What's exciting on the horizon? I keep hearing about AI.
Yes, AI is a big one, and it's moving beyond just, counting how many times a hashtag is used.
How so? What's the next level?
Well, advanced platforms are using AI and natural language processing, NLP.
Teaching computers to understand language.
Essentially, yes. To analyze not just what people are saying, but the sentiment behind it, the user's intent, even picking up on demographic context.
Wow, okay. So much deeper insights.
Much deeper. Think about AI detecting subtle shifts in tone online. Maybe casual mentions turning into real frustration among a specific group.
Ah, like an early warning system.
Exactly. Spotting potential PR issues way before a human analyst might, before it explodes. It delivers far more nuanced understanding.
That's powerful. What other trends are shaping the future here? Social media is global, campaigns are global.
Which means cross-platform and multilingual tracking are becoming absolutely essential.
Right. You can't just monitor Twitter in English if your campaign is running across 5 countries and 3 platforms.
Precisely. You need that unified view. I remember a case where a big brand had a crisis blow up in Southeast Asia simply because they weren't monitoring local language sentiment effectively in real time.
Ouch. So these tools prevent that kind of blind spot.
They aim to, yes. That capability is becoming table stakes. And building on that idea of deeper understanding and preventing problems.
Yes.
Crisis management is a huge growth area for these tools.
Using them proactively, not just reactively.
Exactly. Organizations are using real-time monitoring to spot PR threats early, track how misinformation might be spreading.
And manage their reputation before things get out of hand.
Yes, proactively manage those risks. In today's world, where bad news travels incredibly fast, that early detection is invaluable.
Absolutely. So tying this all together, what it really means for you listening is that this hashtag monitoring software, it's way more than just a simple counting tool.
It's evolved significantly.
It really has. It's becoming a core strategic necessity if you want to understand and navigate this hyper-connected world we live in.
Couldn't agree more.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As these tools get even more sophisticated, allowing this really granular analysis of public feeling, real-time crisis response, what does that mean for us? How does this evolving landscape change how we, as individuals, communicate online, how we express ourselves, and maybe even how we collectively shape the digital narrative in the years ahead?
That's a deep question. The implications are pretty significant when you think about it.